which is drowning someone under controlled conditions, hallucinations resulting from protracted sleep deprivation, multiple slaps to the face, etc. So this is, in a sense, was standard operating procedure within CIA black sites, although the question is how each individual detainee on trial was treated. Now, just to say, like, one of the things that the defense what a defense would do, what a good defense would do in a criminal trial, is seek witnesses who can testify to elements relevant to the case, relevant to the defendant. Of course, for those people who were held in CIA custody, how they were treated in CIA custody is relevant to the defense. But of course, it's not like the CIA is offering up the names and addresses and phone numbers of those people who ran the black sites. So what happened was, when John Sifton left Human Rights Watch, he formed a human rights private investigation firm, One World. He subsequently moved back to Human Rights Watch now, but what One World did, their investigators did sleuthing work, did investigative detective work, and they were able to identify the actual identities of several dozen actual CIA agents who'd been working in Europe, the question being, were these people ones who were at the black sites? So what they did was they produced what's called a photo lineup. First of all, they sent photographers out who took paparazzi-type photos of the actual CIA agent and then mixed them up with paparazzi photos of random people, produced them in a photo lineup, gave them to defense lawyers without telling the defense lawyers who the CIA agent is in any lineup, if there is one at all, and then the lawyers would show those lineups to the defendants, and then the lawyers would come back to One World and say, our client identified this guy, and then it'll be like ding, 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 you hit the bullseye. Well, the only CIA agent who has ever been prosecuted in connection with torture is John Kiriakou, who was a whistleblower about torture. No CIA agents have ever been prosecuted for torture. When one of these photo lineups was found in Guantanamo, the Justice Department initiated a criminal investigation of the lawyers. So that hasn't produced any charges yet, but that is some way in which one of the governmental contempt issues. So what's the point of all this secrecy? We are the point. We are the objects of all of this secrecy. It is, the lawyers can know things, but the public cannot know it. And the onerous, the gag orders, the profound, limitations of people who have access to Guantanamo, only journalists and a handful of legal observers. Everything is classified. The CIA has still not permitted the declassification of a Senate report on the CIA's, torture program. We're waiting even for that. But the reason for this is not, one could say, people would argue, well, it's necessary for national security. How is it necessary for national security? The CIA is no longer permitted to engage in those illegal tactics. Technically, the CIA is not engaging in torture anymore. So it's not like knowing that in 2005 waterboarding was used is going to somehow provide some great, boon for our enemies. But rather, the really specific thing is that it prevents demands. If the public knows these things, it